here we go again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Millennial Media Mavens Show. It's time for the biggest game of the year. It's the Super Bowl. And of course, what do we have here?
I was about to ask why. Just why.
Well, that caught me by surprise. But
Ash is literally back in Miami right now.
Well, you know what? She's in Miami. I think she would rather be in Tampa, or as they call it, Tampa. We will get started. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves. We're gonna start with the top left and move our way as we are in the order of the screen.
Wait, is that me?
Yes,
that's you.
Hey everybody, I am Ashley Nicole Baker. Listen, y'all know how I do and what I'm here for. Y'all know what I'm here for. I'm ready to give these predictions. I'm happy to be here with my fam as usual. And I just decided to throw on the hater blockers because I feel like that my squad is going to throw some major hate tonight. So the blockers are staying on. Shout out to my daughter for letting me borrow them.
All right, Renee.
No, Ashley, you really my sister because I was trying to fool y'all. I had this little moo sweater on before up until showtime started, but I figured since we're talking Super Bowl and Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl, why not rock my team? I don't have my Super Bowl shirt. I'm sorry. That was the last team to beat Tom in the Super Bowl. So you know me, Renee Washington, the usual. Let's get it.
Wow, that's crazy.
All right, Kelsey.
I don't even know how to go after that. You know what? I'm only repping myself. So shout out to the Cannon. That's the brand that I know how to rock. That's how I came in this world. That's how I go out of this world. Kelsey Nicole Nelson, repping all things DC sports. And we see the Washington colors. Maybe just soon, Washington will be in that big game and we'll be talking about it. But since we're talking Tom Brady, we can also talk this Washington football team that almost gave him a little bit. So excited to be here and talk all things Super Bowl. I wish I was down there, sad I'm missing it, but shout out to everyone rocking it down on Radio Row in Tampa Bay.
All right, and Brandon.
I'm just happy that we're going to be having a Super Bowl this year because it's just been a crazy year that we just got out of. And, football is going to be great to start off this new year. Everybody, it's your boy B. Will, the sports reporter that never sleeps. You can check me out here in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Follow me on all social media platforms at B. Will Media. It's lit.
Brandon, I'm really feeling the constant background drop that you've given. And this is the second one. I gotta shout you out, brother. You look. It's the consistency for me. It's the consistency for me.
Well, it's the consistency for her, as me, as somebody who prides himself on being consistent. Brian H. Waters here, representing Break It Down with Brian H. Breaking Through Glass Ceilings, and most importantly, on today, the Millennial Media Mavens. What I'm gonna ask everybody to do, who's watching, go ahead, hit the retweet button if you're on Twitter. If you're on Facebook, go ahead, share it with your friends. If you're on YouTube, drop likes in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and share it with everybody. Let's talk the Super Bowl. So before we get into this year's Super Bowl, I'm gonna start with the person who's never had the joy of experiencing his team win a championship. Sorry, Brandon. So I'm gonna start with you. And when I asked this question,
Brian, I thought you deemed me a Ravens fan.
But you didn't experience the struggle. You're a Ravens Nation now, but at that time you was rolling with the football team, so you don't know what it's like. Sorry, bro. But
Brian, be nice to the football team.
Let me get there where I'm going. What is your favorite Super Bowl? Everybody else, I'm going to ask them what's their favorite Super Bowl that their team was not a part of. But Brandon, what is your favorite Super Bowl?
Oh, if I had to pick, I would probably, and it's probably because I'm a fan of Marshawn Lynch's when Seattle blew out Denver in New Jersey at MetLife. Sorry they had to do that to Peyton Manning. I love the way he plays the quarterback position, but it was just the Seahawks' time. They built one of the best defenses ever in NFL history, and Russell Wilson, in his prime, Marshawn Lynch running all over every single defense in the NFL. He was unstoppable for a good stretch there, and in my opinion, he kind of retired a little prematurely. But hey, I mean, he came in here, did what he had to do. He might still hold a few records or something like that, but he left his footprint here in the league while he was, in Seattle. So I'll probably say that Super Bowl. I forget which number it was, but yeah,
is talking about Super Bowl 43. So
2014.
48. I'm sorry. So Ashley, how about you?
Well, technically, my team is
No, we're not gonna do that before we go.
Why?
It's Super Bowl that Tom Brady didn't play in.
Dallas is my squad, though. Like,
But no, because you going just
how many Super Bowls can I really talk about that didn't feature Tom Brady?
enough. You've been on this earth long enough, and that's no shade.
All right, man. All right. Dang, Brian. I really was gonna give a really good one. I probably have to say, honestly, probably recently the same one that Brandon said though. Broncos. They played the Broncos. You said right, Brandon? If I can recall, the Seahawks. Yeah. Man, I really was happy to see just what Russell Wilson. Just looking at him then and looking at him now, you know what I mean? I mean, even then I was just like, he's not gonna. Honestly, I didn't think that he was gonna be what he is now. I mean, Russell Wilson is a baller, man, and I know we'll get into this later, Brian H. But I really thought that was gonna be, the start of some stuff with the Seahawks, man, and I really thought that they were gonna be the team to be reckoned with for quite some time. After that happened, I mean, they really looked unstoppable. And the biggest thing that just has always stood out to me, and it's specifically with that game, was the defense, Legion of Boom. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they were balling. Definitely wish that I had them on, my fantasy that year. I think I lost some money in fantasy that year, but whatever, it is what it is. But if I had to pick a Super Bowl without anybody that I'm rooting for, I go with, Broncos Seahawks. All
right, Renee.
Oh, this is a hard one because I can't pick. Was there really a Super Bowl as of recent that was better than the Eagles beating the Patriots? All jokes aside,
I got one for you. How about when the Eagles beat them when the Patriots beat them back in the day? Their first stop there. How about you? That was
It's my turn. Second of all, now in 2014 was a blowout. 2014 was a blowout. I was also in the hospital. I was training for the NWSL. I was in the hospital, so I did not enjoy that year. We'd had the year of the Rams Patriots. That was a snooze fest. The Falcons Patriots. Now that's a good one. I would go with that. Of course, I don't like the fact that the Patriots won it, but at least it was like overtime. It was an upset. It was crazy. It was unexpected. It was like a blown lead, one of the worst blown leads in sports history. So, I mean, I like a Super Bowl that's exciting. Last year was like exciting kind of ish. But I'm going to go with that 2017, actually, Falcons Patriots loss for the Falcons, because it definitely teed up 2018 that much better when the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Gosh,
we don't have to know as a champ. That's all.
Hey, Kelsey, what's your favorite Super Bowl
Ash?
That didn't involve the Ravens?
I know it's hard because I'm looking at that jersey, Brian, and I want to pick them, especially since we had the Harbaugh Bowl, we had Beyonce. But you know what? I am going to go last year. I think about last year, 100 years of the NFL, we celebrated the Chiefs finally doing something, winning after 50 long awaited years. And I remember that fourth quarter at the game in Miami. I remember San Francisco 49ers fans they thought they had it in the bag. And all of a sudden, he who was Patrick Mahomes, I think his legacy was actually born. Remember the 21 points in the fourth quarter? And I remember being at that Atlanta Super Bowl, seeing that very boring 13-3 Super Bowl that Tom Brady had won the year before. But what Kansas City did last Super Bowl and coming back to get that first one, and now Patrick Mahomes is trying to run it back and maybe get into this GOAT status that we see him rising to. I'm going to give it to that Super Bowl. And also, in Miami, come on. Is there a better place to play a Super Bowl game? Truly everything that you could ask for. So I'm thankful for last year. And hopefully this year is the year that keeps on giving, Brian.
Well, I'm going to go old school, not too far old school, but, I was watching highlights of this game, and this is one of my favorite teams that I don't claim, and they just happen to be playing this Sunday, and that is the 2002 Super Bowl when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by the maybe third, fourth, fifth, maybe best defense in Super Bowl history when they beat the Oakland Raiders. If you guys get a chance, check out that game. Brad Johnson is a Super Bowl winning quarterback who is often forgot because he didn't play that great. I mean, he threw a couple picks in that game, but the defense that showed up, and this is during the time we had defensive errors. You had Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, all on the defense. But out of all of them, it was Dexter Jackson and Dwight Smith that showed up. You also had Rondé Barber there. And then on the offense, of course, you had Mike Allstott, my boy Keyshawn Johnson, and those may remember Keenan McCardell. So those are some of, as we go back in Super Bowl memories, but we all know 2000 Ravens defense was the best. Now, as we shift gears, we go to this Sunday. And the big thing about this game, no matter which way you look at it, is the fact that you have this icon, this legend. You might as well say it. And I'm going to be honest with you folks. It took me a long time.
Wait. Let me take my shades off for this one because I got to look you in your eye.
It took me a long time to admit this. But the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady.
Put it in the mic. You missed it. It kind of faded out.
Did y'all hear me? Did the rest of y'all hear me?
I don't think they heard you, bro. I really don't think
My computer doesn't allow for those words to come through. So every time.
Well, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments, bro.
You got the greatest quarterback of all time. And you have the up and coming, the second most exciting player in the league right now.
Not second.
Second most exciting player in the league right now. The most talented quarterback, in my opinion, in the league. And that's the one and only Patrick Mahomes.
I heard that.
I'm going to start with Kelsey on this one. When you look at these two, who has the advantage going against the opposing defense? Who do you like better in this matchup?
Yeah, I'm really very much looking forward to this matchup. We know Tom Brady is trying to go to ring number 7, right? Ariana Grande has the song 7 Rings. Tom Brady wants to be the epitome of that. And then on the other end of the football, we have Patrick Mahomes, this young, bright, and brilliant star who continues to be the gift that keeps on giving. I like both of them. I know Brady can't play the way that he played against the New Orleans Saints, against his Kansas City Chiefs team, because they will be a team that can capitalize off of turnovers. I do think quarterback play is going to be well. Look, the biggest thing with Patrick Mahomes is because he's so good, what do you want him to do? You want him to be on the sidelines watching you. You got to keep Patrick Mahomes off that field because when he's on that football field, he can do things that are very special. But then on the other end, I mean, Brady has been there. He's done that. 43 is the new 23 with Brady. We saw the tweet that he sent out today. He's having fun asking people for captions. He's confident in his team. He has the weapons. That defensive side of the football is so strong. And so I think we're going to be – and also, look, let's also remember we have 2 of the best passing attacks in football this football season. So talk about a game that should not be boring. I think I'm very much so looking for Tom Brady. I do think he has something to prove. It's one thing to get the Buccaneers there to their second Super Bowl appearance, but Tom Brady wants us to shut up once and for all and make sure we give him that GOAT status. Tom Brady is tired of being respected. Much like you, Brian, I'm finally ready to say it. It's hard when you have ties to Baltimore, but Tom Brady just is that guy. He's that guy that you just have to keep on hating because he continues to deliver. But on the other end of the football, Patrick Mahomes is not scared. He knows he can get the job done. The Chiefs have the weapons. Andy Reid's is rocking his Hawaiian shirt because he feels confident. Andy Reid is ready to add another ring. When we're talking about one of the greatest coaches to ever play the game, right? He's a 6-money. I mean, Andy Reid is just a legacy. I think all that said and done, I think the pressure's on Tom Brady again. He has to have a clean game. You can't throw 3 picks this game because otherwise you're giving the Kansas City defense a very easy job to do. All eyes on Brady. I also do like the Buccaneers defense. If they can pressure Patrick Mahomes, I think it will be something special. But if you pressure Brady, Brady does some interesting things when he's pressured, and usually it doesn't work out too well for that offense. So Tom Brady, all eyes are on you. Let's cement that GOAT status. Let's put everything to rest. The ball's in your court, Tom.
Okay. Renee, which matchup you like better on defense? Well, which quarterback do you like better against the opposing defense?
This is easy. Patrick Mahomes for 500, please. I think at the end of the day, all jokes aside, there's a couple of things that I look at. Now we're going to get into the offense even more, and I don't want to jump the gun, so to speak, in that sense. But I actually think that, of course, in my opinion right now, Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback. My concern for this game is if this game is tight down the stretch, then you really have to worry because Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. So the Chiefs, it is so important to them. You look at what they did in the regular season when these two teams matched up, and it was like a tale of two halves. If the Chiefs can come out from the start, clicking on all cylinders and kind of take the lead early and put this game away, I think that Tom Brady is going to be similar to what we saw actually when the Patriots lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl in 2018. But I think that if Tom Brady is able to lead this and kind of coast through, pace himself until the end, then we're going to be in trouble. And that's what Tom Brady has been able to bring in his past Super Bowls. You can't keep him around. He's too good. So I think it is important for this defensive matchup that Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense, you look at Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey, they got to be ready to go from the start because you can't let this game linger around. The longer that you leave Tom Brady in the game, the scarier it's going to get. So I think that quarterback versus quarterback, I think Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback right now. If we're talking long-term career, that's a whole different conversation. But I think as a whole, the Buccaneers defense is very good. And that is a concern. That is something that we saw. They kind of took it to Kansas City a little bit earlier in the regular season when they matched up and the Chiefs win. But back to your original question, which I don't even remember what it is right now, actually, between mine and the other answer. I really
Who do you like against the defense better?
No, but I'm still picking Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
But we'll get into more later.
All right, Ashley.
Oh, well, I'll take Tom Brady for 1,000, Brian. Listen, I am just excited to see just the chess match, honestly, between Todd Bowles and Andy Reid. I'm excited to see. I've been waking Todd Bowles up all week. Wake up. Seriously. Bishop taught me best. Seriously. But I like Tom Brady against the defense, man. Listen, the Chiefs defense has definitely gotten better. You got the Honey Badger back there, man, and he's going to be looking to try to pick some stuff off. But I just love the offensive unit that the Bucs have. I mean, I really think that Brady and Arians are really going to just leave it all out on the field. I expect some trick plays. I expect some different stuff that you are going to expect that we're going to see out of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I really expect Tampa Bay to kind of go that route as well, kind of keep, the defense on their heels. Gronk, AB, Godwin, Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, their runner, and again, Tom Brady at quarterback. I mean, they have a stout offense, and if they can just keep that defense on their toes, not be predictable, like I said, kind of dig deep into their playbook, which is what I feel like they may do because this is the final game. You play to win. I like Tom Brady against the Kansas City defense.
And Brandon, you look at it, you see these two quarterbacks. Which one do you think has a slight advantage over the opposing defense?
In terms of Super Bowl experience, I mean, you got to go Tom Brady. But with the way that Patrick Mahomes and that Kansas City Chiefs offense has been playing ever since last year, I think the thing that's going to be very key for the Chiefs offense is them getting off to a fast start early and not letting up. Like many of them alluded to earlier, you can't let this game hang around. You can't allow Tom Brady time and time again to hang around in this game, because if you do, it's not going to end up well for you. I mean, we saw what happened and what he did with the Rams and with the Falcons in the last two Super Bowls that he won. So I think that's going to definitely play a key in that. And then also too, in doing a little bit of research on this matchup, I went back to their Week 12 matchup when the Chiefs actually were in Tampa Bay, and the way that they got off to a fast start then, Tyreek Hill with those two early touchdowns, that long bomb that Patrick Mahomes threw in for 75 yards. He had, I think, over 200 yards receiving in the first half alone. And then after that, they didn't really look at him that much because the Buccaneers defense finally adjusted and decided to do the smart thing and double cover Tyreek Hill. But even then, when you try to double cover this man, that may not also work. So I think what's going to be key is that the Buccaneers defense, they have to find a way to minimize the impact that every single weapon they have on that offense is going to have on the game. Now, the Buccaneers defense, they are definitely good. They are good. They have, I think, in my opinion, one of the best linebacker corps in the league right now, especially in the NFC. And they're very young as well. I mean, when you look at this defense, the only the veterans that they really have on this defense is Ndamukong Suh and JPP, who happens to have some Super Bowl experience against one of his teammates, if you can believe it or not. But I think offensively for Tom and the Bucs, they're going to have to not make any mistakes. They can't afford to make any. And they can't afford to turn the ball over like they did in the Week 12 matchup where Tom threw those 2 picks, too. Because the Chiefs, they may not necessarily be, the top-ranked defense in the league, but they do play good defense when they have to. So it's going to be a toss-up for me, essentially.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a toss-up, man. But I looked at some things, and as Ashley would say, doing my research.
You did that well, Brian.
I noticed Mahomes. He hasn't beaten a top 5 defense in these playoffs. And Tom Brady, he beat the Washington football team, ranked number 4. And I remember they struggled. And I can remember he was able to get it done, though. I said then if they had a better quarterback, maybe they would have walked away with this. Then he got over that hump. And then he had to take on the Saints, ranked number 5 on defense. And he picked them apart. It's so hard for me to see. The Chiefs have not been blowing people out. So when I look at this advantage and I look at this matchup, I don't know what's happening. I tell y'all, it's water in this cup. I'm in this bottle. I'm going with Brady on this one. I like Brady in this matchup. I do. Who do y'all like? What's the X factor? And I'm gonna start with Brandon. Who's your X factor in the Super Bowl?
My X factor for the Chiefs is probably going to be their running game, because in the last matchup that they had against the Bucs, they didn't run for over 100 yards. Not a single one of their running backs did. And with Clyde Edwards-Helaire going down early in the regular season, it hasn't really hurt them a whole lot. But I think that they're definitely going to have to rely on the run game a little bit more, and it's going to be hard because, one, they have injuries on the offensive line, and, I think we don't know what to expect necessarily from everybody else they have in the stable. I mean, Le'Veon Bell, just a few years ago, we were talking about him as the best running back in the league. But ever since he had that stint in New York, and since he's come over to the Chiefs now, it's been a fresh new start for him. But at the same time, he really hasn't had a breakout game yet. Now, for the Buccaneers, AB is going to be the X factor. He's proven that he can definitely be an elite receiver in this game, but this is a game where he has to be elite. Period. If they want to have any type of chance of winning this game and maintaining a lead, Antonio Brown's going to have to go off, because we already know that Gronk is going to definitely be there. We already know that Chris Godwin is going to, get to make some plays. And Scotty Miller also, too, has had some flashes in the playoffs as well. But the one thing that I do want to bring up, though, is that in that Week 12 matchup, Miller had no catch at all.
All right, Renee, X Factor.
So I have a couple. Sorry. I'm going to make this quick, though. I think the first thing is...
Girl, this is our show.
The first is the matchup. It's the matchup leading up to this that we have seen for Tampa Bay. I actually think an X factor is Tom Brady, believe it or not. When you look at what the Buccaneers were able to do to get to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to say it was luck. I don't believe in that. But I do think you played a Washington football team that didn't have a quarterback. No offense, Kelsey and Washington football team fans, but had a great young defense. They weren't ready to beat Tom Brady. You had a Saints team that had Drew Brees, who was unable to throw over distance and was limited at quarterback, although still one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. This was not Drew Brees playing at Drew Brees level. Okay, looking at his arm, looking at his passing, it just wasn't what it normally was. Again, not luck, just a series of fortunate events. And then you look at the Packers, Matt LaFleur's decision-making at the end of the first half, when the Packers were unable to get that touchdown, they score a field goal, then they turn around and give up a touchdown. And then at the end of the game, of course, the biggest blunder when you don't leave Aaron Rodgers on the field. So I think that for the Buccaneers, although I think it's great they got here, I'm still not sure they're fully battle tested. And I was watching something earlier that was talking about how the Chiefs, although they have had an easier quote unquote road and they haven't faced top defenses, that's what happens when you are the number 1 seed overall. You set yourself up to have an easier road to the Super Bowl. So I'm not fully sold on the argument that Tom Brady and the Buccaneers have defeated and beat the best of the best. Because although they have, the Chiefs set themselves up so they didn't have to. So I think the X factor is Tom, because those 3 picks last game, you do that against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, you're not winning this game. And so he's actually going to have to be at his best. I think we know what the players around him can do. Don't know if AB is going to play. But you know what you're going to get from Mike Evans. You know what you're going to get from all the pieces around him. What's Tom going to bring? And if he's not at the caliber of being the best quarterback on the field, the Chiefs are winning this, because you cannot afford to turn the ball over and leave Patrick Mahomes on the field, because we know what they're going to do. So I think it's actually Tom, to be honest. But I do think that it's going to also come down to coaching. We've seen that be a big change of games over the course of any playoff series, but especially this year. So I think there's going to be some big decisions, and I've got faith in my former Eagles coach, Big Red Andy Reid. But I do think it's going to also come down to this chess match, making the right decisions, the right play calling. And I think that the Chiefs do have more versatility that is going to help them be able to adjust to the Buccaneers defense, whereas Tom doesn't have that same versatility in and out of the pocket like Mahomes does. So there's a couple factors. It's Tom, sorry, Ashley, and it's definitely the play calling and versatility that I think the Chiefs have the edge on. So
I just want to point out one thing before you go, Kelsey. I think Kelsey's up next. The thing is, Renee, I understand what you're saying about the Chiefs having they set themselves up, whatever. But at the same time, they didn't blow out the Browns. Look how close that game was. Now you can make the argument that Mahomes went down.
It's the playoffs.
But you can make the argument that they started coasting. But I think we all have this aura about the Chiefs that they're just going to just run through this, and like they've been running through everything. That's the thing, And so, I mean, we're going to see.
So I don't think the Chiefs are dominating at all.
Okay.
I'm not foolish enough to act like they are just untouchable, unbeatable. I actually want to compare them. And Brian,
wait, so you saying people who think they're untouchable, unbeatable are foolish?
No, anybody's beatable, especially in the playoffs. It's a whole different game. What I think the Chiefs remind me of, the Lakers of this past year. Good teams do what it takes to win. Mm-hmm. And for the Chiefs, they're finding ways to win, and they're finding the playoffs is a different beast. It doesn't matter records. It doesn't matter anything you did in the regular season. Come playoff time, everybody's playing their best football, whether they've got a bunch of COVID cases, injuries. I know the Chiefs are without their left tackle coming in the Super Bowl. Injuries are going to play a factor, yes, but at the end of the day, these guys are going to step on the field ready to play. But the Chiefs have that Lakers magic where they got an X factor in Patrick Mahomes, the best player in football right now. So I think that is, in my opinion, the difference. They're not invincible, but they've got the edge because of the way that Mahomes is playing.
All right. Kelsey, your X factor for this game.
Yeah, I'll just go off Renee's and your points, Brian. And this is not the same old Chiefs team, right? I mean, the Chiefs team this year had games where they could have lost because, again, some games you're like, wow, these teams actually got close to beating the Kansas City Chiefs, who right now are putting on a holy grail and putting them high like they're untouchable. And I think the great thing about this game is that, again, we have 2 great quarterbacks. But to Renee's point about Tom Brady being an X factor, I'm looking at that Buccaneers defense, right? I'm looking at these linebackers. You know the injuries that Patrick Mahomes has. You want to pressure Patrick Mahomes. You have 2 offensive linemen coming in that might can't protect Patrick. And what do you want to do with Patrick Mahomes is get to him so you can get him off that football field. Because when Patrick Mahomes has time to throw, what is he? He's scary. Patrick Mahomes has an arm unlike any other. He can throw it down the field. He can do it backwards. You see his crazy passes and his crazy passes that he can do in football games. So you want to keep him off the field. To do that, the Buccaneers defense is going to be so important. Brandon touched on them early, but JPP, right? Jason Pierre-Paul, Sue wants a ring, right? Devin White. I mean, there's so many. Shaquille Barrett. That defense, when they can pressure, we know how powerful and how great they are. And if Tom Brady does have mistakes, if that defense plays its best, they can kind of help to mitigate some of those mistakes. So I'm looking at those linebackers. I'm looking at them to bring in Todd Bowles, and shout out to him. He's not getting enough credit for what he's done with this team this season, really fully turning around this Buccaneers defense. But I'm looking at all those guys. All of these guys are hungry, and they're playing some of their best football. Mike Patton also brought up a great point. Patrick Mahomes, we saw him go down with a concussion. We saw the toe injury. If you're bringing that pressure on him, right, he's still trying to get used to playing on that toe. I think it could be a big game changer. So I'm looking at that Buccaneers defense, Brian, looking at those names that I just said, and I think it's going to be truly, I'm giving them all those factors. Like Ashley said, this is our show, so we can have one. But I think when you look at that defense, very strong. And if they play their best, Patrick is going to be pressured in ways he doesn't want to. And he's going to get off that football field, and that means Tom Brady will reach the unreachable, break the unbreakable, and touch the untouchable as he tries to add another ring to his dynasty and to his legacy.
All right, and Ashley, when you look at this Super Bowl, what is the X factor?
Who,
what, where, when, why?
When, who, all that. So on the Bucs side, and I know he's been kind of like jammed up with blocking a lot this season, but I'm gonna go Gronk. I just feel like if they could find a way to get Gronk involved super early, he can have a really dominating game. There just aren't many individuals that, first of all, can handle the man one-on-one. He's a monster. You're going to have to bring some folk his way. And even then, that may not be enough. If they can find a way, I don't know if it's maybe first half, get them going, or kind of make it into the Gronk show second half. But I really feel like Gronk is probably the X factor with the Bucs. Brady will be fine in the Super Bowl. I don't see him making those kind of mistakes that he made coming into the Super Bowl, or those mistakes that he made back in the day when he played those Giants and that Philly team, whatever mistakes he may have made. He's much better than that. I don't see him really having a bad game. That's not me being biased. I just don't see him like taking the night off. He has a point to prove. He literally said that he trying to up one Jordan. Because Jordan is the greatest in his opinion with his 6 rings. He's trying to get ring 7. For the Chiefs, as I kind of alluded to earlier, I really feel like the X factor for them is going to be the defense, because again, Tampa just has so many different weapons, and we're not talking about we're really fixated on the Chiefs offense, but we're not talking about their defense, which has they've kind of had a say as to why certain teams have been able to hang around in these earlier games that you were talking about. So I'm not saying that they're bad. They've definitely improved, but they need to be the X factor. They got to come with it because I expect that offense to just really be clicking, especially if Gronk can become the X factor that I think that he should be on Sunday. We're so fixated on AB and Godwin and Evans. You almost forget that they have Gronk, like I said, because he's been kind of just busy doing a whole lot of blocking. But if they can make him a part of the scheme or a part of that play calling on Sunday, yeah, the Chiefs defense is going to have a problem. Where's our host? Where's Brian?
He didn't want to hear you anymore, so he did. Did you see?
There you go.
No,
Comcast so we just bounced real quick.
Comcast is trash. They decided.
Brian actually on my side tonight. Thank goodness.
Oh, Brian, I'm a little like
Brian is.
Brian, to Ashley's point, I think the cool thing about Gronk is, like Ashley said, when he's blocking, right, but he's not doing big plays. But when Gronk has those big plays, he has those big plays. And if we're also looking at the Tampa Bay offense, I don't remember if anyone mentioned Leonard Fournette. What a postseason he's having. We brought up that Washington game. Leonard Fournette was the difference in that football game, where a Washington football team that had a guy from ODU who was taking college classes almost defeated the GOAT, Tom Brady, in the freaking playoffs. That was crazy. Leonard Fournette is getting it done on the ground. He can get it done in the air. He's finding himself in the end zone. So he has a great game. Again, the Kansas City Chiefs will have their hands full. But I also say we have to keep eyes on Fournette. But I also like that pick, actually, because Gronk, he was asked in interviews today, what is his role? He said he would like to have a big play, but he's just playing his role. He's just playing his role. Blocking and everything else. He knows TB12 very well, so he knows the job he has to do. And he's ready to just add it.
And they played in Super Bowls before, so I expect connections. You know what I mean? I expect him to go with who he know in the Super Bowl on the big stage. He's done it with Gronk time and time again. So,
That's why, in my opinion, for the Buccaneers, aside from their defense, I do think it is Tom Brady, because I feel like right now everybody else around him is playing pretty consistently. You've got a lot of young players. You've got Leonard Fournette, who we actually haven't even talked about enough. But there are players, Gronk, Fournette, Godwin, Mike Evans. There are players around him that you kind of know what you're going to get. But when it comes to championships, you need your best player to step up and make big plays, whether it's one way or the other. He's got to figure out a way to be consistent. Can't throw picks, can't have any turnovers. So I do agree in that Tampa Bay has a lot of pieces that we just haven't even talked about enough. But I remember having this conversation. I know we've talked about this before. Casey Phillips, Tampa Bay reporter, was on my show Beyond the Headlines last year saying how the Buccaneers have always been like one piece away, like one piece they were missing. They had all the championship caliber players, personality, chemistry. They were just missing one piece. And then here comes Tom Brady. And here we are talking Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So anything is possible with this team. They're definitely talented enough.
Yeah, definitely talented enough. When I sit back and I think about the X factors for Kansas City, man, it's definitely, in my opinion, Tyreek Hill. And as much as I can't stand the guy, I see that, it can start and end with him because he's super fast. Then all Mahomes got to do, if Mahomes gets in trouble, he just finds him on the field. More than likely, if Mahomes is in trouble, that means he's going to have a lot of pressure coming his way. And that's going to leave some things open. But for the Buccaneers, it was mentioned earlier, Leonard Fournette. I mean, like Kelsey said, just his game. So I'm really looking forward to it. I just wish one thing. I honestly wish this kind of would have happened like last year. Like I wish Mahomes didn't have a Super Bowl yet. So it would have been more interesting to see like this young man versus this new man. But it's cool because both teams have been there. So it's not like they're going to be, it's not like Mahomes is going to be super excited or super nervous when he gets ready to face Tom Brady in this situation. So now is the moment that everybody has been waiting for, and that is the predictions time. So who do you have winning the Super Bowl?
Wait.
What?
Brian, really quick. Brian, you brought up something really good off air when me and you were talking earlier this week. You gotta pose that question here really quick. We gotta talk about, is there a possibility like that the Patriots might stop the dynasty? I mean, the Patriots, freak. The Bucks might stop. Brady might stop another dynasty. Are you going to talk about that?
I know what I'm doing.
Oh, my bad.
I produce shows in my sleep.
My bad, y'all. Look at me putting the.
When y'all sleeping, I'm producing shows.
Yes, my bad.
So with that being said, you go first.
Nah, I'm good.
No, you go first. You go first. Who's winning?
That's all right. I'm going first, and I'm putting.
Oh Lord.
So my prediction, of course, y'all already know. I refuse. I will never bet against Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. Obviously, I have the Buccaneers winning their first championship since 2003, I believe.
2 is the season, 3 is the calendar.
Okay, 2002-2003 season. Tampa Bay at home, to making another history type moment. Look, it's not going to be easy. I don't think that they're going to just walk away with this game. I know what Patrick Mahomes and I know what the Chiefs give. Okay, but this man is itching for ring 7. He's itching to prove that he can do it without Bill Belichick. He's itching to prove that he could do it without New England. And getting there, I don't think that was just enough for him. I think that he wants to make sure that he completely just seals it, grabs ring 7, and that be that. I am going Bucks 38-35. It's going to be a high-scoring game. To be honest, it probably will come down to some type of field goal, but I think that the Bucks defense, they're gonna Todd Bowles. Oh, Todd, if you listening to me right now, Todd Bowles, you better not be asleep. Wake up. You better not be asleep. It's 10
Come on, Black Mother.
This man better be up. studying, but I really feel like that maybe the Bucs defense will make 1 or 2 plays that is going to make the difference in this game. And I think that Tom Brady is going to walk away with ring 7, 38-35.
38-35. Renee.
Oh, yes, I get to go next.
Oh, girl.
All right, look. I'm gonna send some Eagles, Philly magic to the Chiefs today or this week, I should say. Is Ashley hungover? I cannot with these comments. Because please put that on the screen.
Wait, what? Is Ashley hungover from around the Bucs party?
I love it.
Yes, he better be good.
Man, shout out real quick. Shout out to Mike Patton.
Yeah.
Always a loyal supporter.
That's a
One
good
time
comment
from
right
the
there,
family. The
He's
Sports
real.
Awakening. Make sure y'all check him out on Haps TV as he brings to you great coverage around football, NBA, and he writes great poetry and a lot of stuff. So make sure y'all give that brother a follow at Mike Patton. I think it's Mike Patton 82. Mike Patton 82. But go ahead, Renee. I just wanted to get
the number. I didn't know the number. I was about to be wrong. No, but what I was going to say is I think it is actually similar to what Ashley was saying. It's going to take one big play on both sides of the ball. So you look at the Eagles Super Bowl, for example, and what it took for them to beat the Patriots. You have Tom Brady drop that ball in that very unathletic play where they tried to run whatever that was. And then you had the Philly. You need a play that's going to be a game-changing play. So I'm going with the Chiefs, but not only because I don't want Tom Brady to get a ring. And I love the fact that everybody always says this player is itching for a ring. They are itching for a ring. I'm itching for a ring. Shoot. But at the end of the day, a literal ring, by the way, if y'all get the joke. At the end of the day, I'm tired. Went over your head. At the end of the day, I'm tired of the Tom Brady era as a whole. And I'm hoping that we're going to get some of what we saw him finishing in with the Patriots. You look at that loss in the first round of the playoffs last year for the Patriots. And actually it started when they lost to the Dolphins too, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. I don't think that Tom Brady's the same Tom Brady. So I think his time is up. I think it's time to welcome in the new GOAT, which is Patrick Mahomes. And what better way to do it than to literally knock off the player that is the current greatest of all time. So I'm going Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs by like 10. I think they need to make this. It needs to be more than a +7 margin. Anything less than that, and I honestly am a little scared. But not only do I want the Chiefs to win, I just want Ashley to lose. So let me just throw that in there. Okay?
That's crazy.
Okay, because I don't want to hear all of this. Because
you're my sister,
I've
but
been
you're
saying,
about to be moved to a distant cousin. That's what's about to happen. You about to be the third cousin removed.
I'll let you speak. I've been saying from the beginning, Tampa Bay can make a deep run in the playoffs. They've got the potential. They're going to be a team to watch out for. Hoping they wouldn't make it to the Super Bowl, but here we are. They're still here, still there playing. But I think it's time for the Chiefs to put them away.
Can I be the interviewer real quick? Because I thought that you said that Tampa Bay would not make a deep playoff run.
I said they will make up, and I'm quoted on this. Y'all can go back.
We gotta run this stuff back. I am not sold on Tampa Bay, and I don't think we're going to make a deep playoff.
I don't lie. I said I can see Tampa Bay making a deep playoff run, but not getting to the Super Bowl. I will take ownership on the fact I was wrong because
damn it, Crow.
I'm feeling a 2018 Super Bowl all over again. It's going to be magical. It's going to be exciting. We're going to be laughing. We're going to be cheering. Some Tampa Bay bandwagon fans are going to be crying with their shades on, and it's going to be incredible. Chiefs by 10.
All right. Chiefs
Mic
by
drop.
10. Kelsey.
That's why you can't drop it. You know what?
Mic drop.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
Look, calm down on the courtside Karens because I want to talk. All right. So messing with y'all. But lo and behold, all right. So this game, I'm very excited for. Again, 2 high-powered offenses that can pass the ball. I mean, we've got Mike Evans, Godwin, AB, Scotty Miller, Gronk. We talked about Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey, Hardman, Robinson, Watkins, like all of these big names. I'm leaning more towards actually think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I have 33. I have Tom Brady getting it done and making us hate him even more. But I mean, it's just, look, you can't bet against Tom Brady. And Brian, we know this very well in Baltimore. We've betted against him multiple times.
Hey, we beat him.
Look,
Yeah,
he's not always on the great side. But look, now he's out of New England. But all that to say, I think Tampa Bay is going to get the job done. Look, I mean, how can you not root for Tampa Bay? They have women on the coaching staff. They have African-American coordinators, right? An African-American head coach. I mean, it's like they have everything going for them. They're moving the ball in terms of diversity. They got Tom Brady. They revived Tom Brady. Many of us doubted Tom Brady when he went to Tampa Bay. There's no way he can make the Bucs relevant again. And yet here we are having a Super Bowl show talking.
Nobody said no way.
So look, we have to stop doubting Brady, but I do think Patrick Mahomes is going to give us a very, very, very good football team. But again, I'm looking at those injuries on the O-line. We cannot just dismiss them. We also have to continue to monitor the Chiefs for this COVID scare, right? Because they're around a certain person, and who knows if more incidences will come out. But I love Andy Reid. I love what he's doing, but I just think everything is in the water for this Tampa Bay team. I mean, you can just go on and on and on about it. Tom Brady, if he gets this ring, again, we have to give him his respect because he's doing it at 43. And lo and behold, you guys heard the press conference. Tom Brady wants to come back again. Will the Buccaneers get it again with Tom Brady? I don't think so. So I think he knows this is the year to do it with this team, the way that it's equipped. What a special team on both sides of the football. Tampa Bay's back relevant, and they win the Super Bowl at home, 38-33. Bet on it. Take it to the casino. I think I'm going to be right.
All right.
Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Because I'm sorry to cut y'all off, Brandon and Brian, because Kelsey, you have been very misleading throughout this show. I could have sworn you were about to say the Chiefs, and then all out of left field. And maybe I just misread everything you were saying earlier, but you were definitely giving me Chiefs vibes. And then all of a sudden,
no. I praise Tom Brady, Renee, which I never do. And Brian knows this of all people. It's hard. The hardest people to praise.
Man, the Chiefs have diversity. Okay, Airbnb, they've got diversity. We're not going, but I'm not going to root for Buccaneers for their diversity. As a like Low, shout out to Low, Coach Low with Tampa Bay, but that's not enough for me to root against Ashley and Tom.
Nah, Tampa Bay's getting it done. Ashley got it right on this one. Ashley, I'm gonna give you your credit.
Ashley, you're muted, but I don't want to tell you that because I like it.
I was gonna say, Renee, why do you say it?
Let me do that over. Now, see, why it always gotta be Ashley and Tom? Why you always gotta bring me in this?
First of all, you're not even excited because I put you and Tom in the same.
Look, for the rest of the week, let me tell y'all what I'm gonna tell y'all for the rest of the week, and then Brian and Brandon, y'all can go. For the rest of the week, when I hear the slander, okay, I'm gonna let Brady do the talking for me. Okay, Brian,
You make me.
Remember that, y'all. Someone needs to make that a gift, actually. You know what to say now. You got our hostess studs, Ashley.
Brandon, go ahead. You can.
Brian,
who you got, Brandon?
Brandon, just go on and pick correct now.
Proving everybody's point right now that all three of y'all are sisters for real. But other than that, I'm gonna take Chiefs over Bucks 35-27. Now, in order for that to come to fruition, Bucks defense is going to have to do what the Giants defense did in those Super Bowls against Tom Brady and them back in New England. They will have to get him early and often. Chris Jones, he was very quiet in that Week 12 matchup, but I'm going to need him to make some noise come Sunday. I'm also need my boy, what's his name, Clark, to make some noise as well. And I know that, Tom is going to get his too and everything like that. But the magic that just happens when Patrick Mahomes is in a big moment, he doesn't dim his light. He doesn't shrink under the pressure. He embraces that and turns it into a game-winning drive. So I'm thinking Chiefs over Bucks 35-27.
That's right. I knew I liked you, Brandon, the most out of everybody. Consistent. I like it. I will ride this ship till it crashes.
Brandon, don't call me no more and ask me if the salmon is done. Okay? Because I remember when you asked me if the salmon is done. Don't make me for no more advice, brother. It's over. It's a wrap.
You all know. You know who the better sister is for advice, anyways, and it's the one that's
not for cooking.
rooting for the right team. Well, he just never asked me, but I know how to put that in the kitchen.
What I'm saying. Me and him, that was a
well, now you can come to me and you can eat better anyways.
Please.
All right. Hopefully,
I have bombs in it, right? Okay.
hopefully his internet acts right.
Hey, Brian is back.
Hey, look, Comcast must have got mad because we complained about them charging and trying to put a cap on people's internet.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Come on, Comcast.
So anyway, all right, this Sunday. Why I hear myself? All right, this Sunday, I am picking Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And here's why. Folks, Tom Brady and Ashley tried to jump the shark, but I brought up the point, and this is what happens when you pre-produce and you talk to your sister before the show. Tom Brady's a dynasty killer. You go back to 2000. There was this team called the St. Louis Rams. They won the Super Bowl in 2000, the 99 season, right? Then in 2001, the greatest show on turf, they had a 14-point favorites. They were 14-point favorites. John Madden himself, yeah, kids, he was a coach before he was on the cover of a video game. And in between that, he was a broadcaster. He said, I don't know why this kid Tom Brady is trying to drive downfield. If I'm Bill Belichick, I just don't go into overtime. I mean, I just play for overtime. Guess what? Tom Brady goes downfield. Adam Vinatieri hits the game-winning field goal. Boom. Then we move forward. There was a team called the Seattle Seahawks, a team that I thought was going to win 3 straight Super Bowls. This was supposed to be a perfect weekend for me, folks. My daughter was born that Saturday. And then that Sunday, because it was a blizzard coming to Connecticut, we got to go home the next day because she was healthy. And they gave us a steak dinner in the hospital. And that night, me and my son, we had wings and pizza in Connecticut. Shout out to Bristol Hospital.
All right.
Yeah, they treat you good. And then that night, because Richard Sherman's son was about to be born around the same time. Remember the story?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Pete Carroll called the wrong play. And what happens? Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl. And then the Seahawks never gets back.
Yeah, to be fair, that's
I put that on Pete. Put that on Tom. That's on Pete.
That's on Pete. But at the same time, Brady and them beat him. And guess what happened? The Seahawks were never the same. The dynasty was dead. I don't like dynasties unless they're my teams. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to see the Chiefs win the Super Bowl because I guarantee you that whiny baby who's never been held accountable, never been suspended guy who walks around looking like trash, Tyreek Hill. Yeah, y'all know I don't have no cool for abusers. Tyreek Hill, and that is the views and opinions of Brian H. Waters only, not of the Millennial Media Mavens. He will go crying. He will go crying. Le'Veon Bell, we already seen his prima donna issues. He will go crying. All this great stuff, and you'll have good old Patrick Mahomes trying to keep the team together, and then he's getting paid his money. He already got his bag. How you gonna keep this team together? People ain't gonna take pay cuts to play for second place. So with that being said, Tom Brady will kill the dynasty that is the Kansas City Chiefs, folks, and they're going to do it. It's not going to be that high scoring. But you know what the best thing, Ashley, you keep talking about Todd Bowles, right? So if you, this is all he needs to do. He needs to get some ear pods. He needs to tuck them in underneath his headset. Guess who's calling the game Sunday? You can't have a better broadcast combination.
That's fair.
With 2 dynamic quarterbacks, that Tony Romo and Jim Nance. You know Romo gonna be calling the plays before they happen. I can't wait for this. Like, I mean, we saw it the last time these two teams played together. I think that's when, like, most of us diehard football fans, we seen this out of Romo, but the world saw it that game. That was the game where everybody's like, wow, Tony Romo's really good. We be like, we knew this since week 1.
Well, to be honest, you know, I'm a Cowboys fan, and just the way he can articulate it, you know, you didn't really know because it was kind of just overshadowed by Jason Garrett being, you know, offensive coordinator, and then, you know, the coaches that they had. But if he was like allowed to like call plays and do all that, Dallas might have a championship.
Oh my gosh.
Or at least one more.
And you know what bothers me also? Mike Patton just brought it up. This right here. Le'Veon Bell.
Oh
Y'all act like okay. But y'all act like these grown men don't have the dumbest comments and moments and get carried away at times. This is expected. Not everybody knows how to act when they get, especially Black people. I hate to say it, but we don't always know how to act when we get to something where we're supposed to come correct. Okay, so I'm not gonna let that be a reason why the Chiefs are gonna lose, because I have faith. Brian, I don't like you neither.
Well, she got. Let me make this point, because Brian.
I don't mind being the underdog.
It's doing it again.
Was the reason that the Seahawks dynasty died, and Brian goes again. The reason why that Seahawks dynasty fell was because of Pete Carroll. Period. I don't care what nobody says. If you run the ball on that play, we would be having a totally different conversation right now. I've said it then, I'll say it now. Had Marshawn Lynch gotten that ball on that play, Seahawks would have turned back to the Super Bowl winning champion at that point.
It was simple. They made it complicated.
I think the point that I'm trying to make, though, is if Tom Brady hadn't had them in position, then they probably wouldn't have felt the need to even force that play. They put him in. He put him in a position to have to even, whether it was Marshawn running it in or the bonehead play that he actually called, it doesn't matter. He brought them to Tom Brady brought the Patriots to a place where at the end of the game it was them on the winning side.
And when you lose big games, it divides the team. Look at the Panthers, right? They lost the Super Bowl. Where team divided, because there's this thing of blaming this one, blaming that one. Unless you got a great leader like number 52 for the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis, who's saying, "Hey, y'all, we lost this game. Let's remember how we feel and get back here." And then they went back and avenged Tom Brady. That's the type of stuff that happened. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lost that game. The same guy who's playing in this game, Le'Veon Bell, making a rap album. How you gonna make a rap album? You letting people know the left eye don't have, the left hand don't have to let the right hand know what it's doing. So these are the type of things, and that's why it would be so sweet. Because look, it's not I love Patrick Mahomes. I actually like him more than Tom Brady, but I can't stand Chiefs fans. And Ashley Baker said it best, and I'll let her go ahead and say it because in case my internet went act crazy.
Yeah, that Comcast struggle.
Told you, Brian, come to Verizon.
I can't get it. Not in Baltimore City.
Oh, my bad.
That's the only thing.
Brian, you make such a good point on the Chiefs fans. Because look, Patrick Mahomes, he's a likable guy. I like seeing him in commercials. I like seeing him on the football field. But Chiefs fans, they got a taste of victory last season. And there's something else, right? We see the chop. We see everything else that they'll do if they win. But to be fair and play devil's advocate, Brian, are Brady fanatics like Ash?
I was going to say, they are no better.
But wait a minute. Can I just say something really quick?
Do we want to see?
I'm proven. My quarterback has done it over a long period of time. I have the rights. I can brag about what he's doing. He's done it so many times. You know what I'm saying? So why can't I? I can go into this game very confident. I mean, the odds of Tom Brady losing a Super Bowl is what?
But
wait. Let me just add to that. So
just go ahead. You should have just said, let me just say
So you as a Tom Brady stan can sit up and be crazy over the moon about Tom, but I'm not allowed to about LeBron. And every time I say something about LeBron, we got a problem. But when I say LeBron's proven himself over and over again, no, he doesn't have 6 championships yet. But when I say LeBron has proven himself in championships, we have a problem. Now, I hate to switch to the hard one, but
all right.
That's going to have to go on the Patreon account.
At the end of the day, when it comes to any fans, I'm not really happy for anybody unless it's the Eagles winning. But I would rather see the Tom Brady fans lose than the Chiefs fans win. So if I had to pick someone, first of all, I'm going with the black quarterback, the young quarterback who's changing the game. I love the change of quarterbacks in our league right now and the way that they are no longer just a stand in the pocket and throw quarterback. I'm all for the evolution of quarterbacks. So I am rooting for the Chiefs for that reason alone. I do think they have some issues that we can look at off field that might make them a little more distracted and less focused. But at the end of the day, like I said, these are grown men. Okay, Anthony, relax. We're talking Super Bowl here. At the end of the day.
Let me ask you this, though. Can I ask you this? Do you want to deal with, we just got done dealing with almost 20 years of Brady, right? Do you want to deal with 20 years of Mahomes, and that's preventing your Eagles, my Ravens, etc.? Or would you rather see this stop before it begins?
So that's why you would rather have Tom Brady's Buccaneers win because he's on the way out?
Yes.
Nah, because I think that for
to her it doesn't matter. That's because
there's always going to be a top team that you're chasing. Like I'm not going to sit up and root against it for that reason. There's always someone that's going to be the dynasty and the team to beat across sports. So I think that if it's now going to be Patrick Mahomes, I actually at least like Patrick Mahomes. I don't mind rooting for Patrick Mahomes. Of course, I will always root for the Eagles. But hey, if we're meeting up with them in the Super Bowl, so be it. But I think that it is a good point you make, Brian. But at the end of the day, it's time for the full change of the NFL. And I think that actually will be solidified if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. So I am rooting for them. I know the Chiefs are the underdog in that sense, which is crazy because they won last year. But hey, we've seen underdogs win before in the Super Bowl, and I've been a part of it. I've celebrated it, and I'm ready for it to happen again.
All right. So, what a show! We got our predictions out there. The collectively was 3-2. I think I heard Brandon's prediction right before Comcast went to act stupid.
He's going Chiefs.
Yep, proudly Chiefs.
So so that we can get through this quickly, I'm gonna just do this. Here's Ashley Baker. Y'all can follow her right there. Because if I don't do it this way, then the lady's gonna get on me saying we took too long. There's Renee. Boom. You can follow her right there. There's Kelsey. Boom. You can follow her right there.
Kind of rap.
And then there's Brandon.
With the Birdman rub.
That was real smooth, Brandon. Props to you.
And it's me, Brian H. Waters. Make sure you follow me. Follow the Wrestling Realm. Also, until the next time, folks, we'll catch y'all later. Make sure, let me get out of full solo. Dang, it's hard to
Make sure you show that full jersey before we finish. I want the good people to see that jersey.
Let's go ahead and
I will always rep my black quarterback on Black History Month. My blackity black quarterback will be playing in this game next year. We'll be there.
Celebrate.
Which one? You don't know which one is your quarterback, Renee?
Jalen. I got a black quarterback too, Zach.
I got a black quarterback.
Training camp right now.
Until the next time, folks, we're the Millennial Media Mavens. So long, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Cheese.